Insanity, insanity, whatever happened to humanity?
Mass is a 2022 American drama film that has been produced, written, and directed by Fran Kranz. After an horrible life incident, two couples meet for a painful and raw conversation in the aftermath of a violent tragedy. Whoo! Whoa! I was not prepared for this film. Now, I knew what this film was about before getting into it. I have to know the premise of films before I watch it so I can get like a further knowledge of watching these films before I review it, just in case if I watch the film and there's some things I just don't understand, at least the headline can save me and help me out. But man, I was not prepared. I was not ready for the power of this film. Now, I've been there and done that with films, documentaries, films that I can relate to, or films that is based on history. When it comes to films from Hollywood, they like to push a lot of films when it comes to racism, depression, slavery, you name it, documentaries, stuff that we can be traumatized to when it comes to us going through things that hit us home. I've been there and done that. And they push these films so much to the point where even though I watch them, the approach can be the same, but how they deliver it makes me feel brand new to these films. What I like about Mass and what I like about what Fran Kranz has done was that he wanted to take a perspective of something that people don't talk about, and developers and movie and directors don't really do. There's probably movies like this, but not enough to the point where people don't talk about it. So if there are movies like Mass, I'm sorry, people are not speaking loud enough for me to know that this movie exists. But this film is focused on something that we can not just relate to and be a witness to, but at the same time, it happens so much to the point where it's sadly common, and that is shootouts, high school shootouts. But unlike the news, because the news, they talk about these shootouts, they talk about who was a witness of these shootouts, who was the victims, who died, who was injured, and who was the main cause of these shootouts. What Mass has done was that they wanted to focus on the aspects of the family members. And they wanted to go to the eye-opener of two parents who has lost their son from the cause of the shooting. And they wanted to plan a meeting, a conference, a deep conversation towards another family, a mother and a father, who had a son who was the cause of the shooting. And they just wanted to know why. And they wanted to have deep closure to it. This was a film, even though they were just talking, and it was mostly focused on the chemistry and the dialogue, this film was indeed a hellish ride. I was glued to the screen to the point where I really felt like I was there by the conversation, by the tensity of this film, and you have to be ready for this. If you're like me, if you get pulled in by the film so much to the point where you begin to feel for these characters, you're going to cry a lot. The movie's main strength is the drama and the chemistry of these characters. Now, for the parents who lost their son to the shooting, and the parents who lost their son even though he was a cause of the shooting, you want to see two sides of the coin. You want to see how things play out. And at one point, you want to point fingers because that's what the parents was doing. And that's what I liked about this film, is that the acting was so well done It was so well polished, and it was so powerful to the point where when the parents, and from both aspects, from both sides of the coin, from the parents who lost their son towards the shooting, I felt their drive. I felt their sorrow. I felt their loss. And I felt their frustration as they was trying to get answers. As they was trying to calmly, was trying to make sense of everything. Trying to see, like, how did this happen? What happened? And I was at the brink of seeing what was going on with them too. Because I wanted to see how things were going to play out, especially by the other side of the coin too. And I believed them too. I believed their aspects as well. And even though they was being victimized towards the media and stigmatized as well, and being hurt by a lot of other parents that has gotten their kids killed too, they was literally holding back the information because they was afraid they was going to get stigmatized as well, judged, ridiculed. And I believed it. I really felt what they were going through, especially the mother, when she literally asked the other mother that lost her son, why you want to know about my son so much? And then she really replied, because my son was killed by yours. The acting from these families was sensational, phenomenal, to the point where I can't see anyone do what they have done. There are probably actors and actresses that could have probably done better than them, but I just can't picture that. These actors and actresses did very good. All of them. But I was mainly focused on Gail Perry and Ann Dodd. They had literally owned this film. They have killed these roles to the point where I was literally glued to the screen. Well, I was already glued to the screen from start to finish from this film, especially from the start and from the ending. But Gail Perry and Ann Dodd, it was like they added Gorilla Glue to the screen. Gail Perry, as a mother who lost her son towards the shooting, I loved her character. Her character was indeed believable. There were times where she was frustrated, and I felt the frustration. I was frustrated for her. There were times where she literally wanted to just say the things that she wanted to say, but she didn't want to interrogate the other family. And I really felt that. I really felt like, you know what? I do feel what you're going through. And she really had to cut herself because, well, verbally cut herself. Don't want to cause no confusion, because she knew that if she was going to say something outlandish, then she might regret it. These characters really did pull me in to the point where I really felt for them a lot. And Ann Dodd, as the mother of the son that has caused the shooting, man, she did well, man. And the reason why I was really into her character is because she has pulled me in so much with her previous acting from The Handmaid's Tale. I loved her on there to the point where I really wanted to follow her filmography. So when I found out that she was on Mass, you see where I'm going through with this. She made me curious. I was like, you know what, how am I going to play this? How is she going to play this out? And then when I found out that she was the mother of the son who has caused the shooting, I was like, you know what, her acting is so well done. How could she fuck this up? And she did not fuck this up. This was great, to the point where even though there are people that bash on family members that had a son that would do stuff like this, Ann Dodd's character made me feel bad for her, made me feel bad for the family, made me even feel bad for the son, because she was saying that, you know, people act a certain way and we judge people by these actions, but we don't want to judge the characteristics of what caused them to be in these modes. And I agree with her, because even today, where people judge others, criticize others, bash others, and they get to a point where they may feel depression or they may feel distant. I've been through this. I know this. The conversations that they have on this film was very, very good. It like there were times, and even though you know what the conversation is about, was just them trying to confront each other of just what happened, how it happened, how did you raise your son, and what has brung to this dark path that, you know, that he has taken. there was certain things that they would talk about, and I don't want to spoil too much, that, man, that really pulled me in to the point where I was like, man, parents and people in general need to have conversations like this. And that's the reason why I'm surprised no one is talking about this film. This movie needs to be watched. It doesn't matter if you just like action. It doesn't matter if you like comedy. It doesn't matter if you just like one certain genre of movies. I feel like if you watch the news often and you are familiar with stuff like this, you need to watch this film to see how things play out. Not just because of the film itself, not just because of the acting, but I feel like you need to watch it because of the message. And I don't want to spoil the review because of this, because of what the message is of this film. But I felt like the message was indeed beautiful. I felt like this message that they was telling people, the viewers, the audience, me in general, was indeed heartwarming. And I think by me understanding the message, I even though I've been through the whole film and I cried a lot by the parents pouring their hearts out, talking about the loss of their son, by both aspects of the coin, of seeing the visions of these parents, the ending made me cry the hardest. And it's the hardest I've ever cried. To the point where I think this is more than a film that is great. It is more than a masterpiece. This movie is indeed powerful in all aspects. Think of it as a Quentin Tarantino film, but just conversation. But the conversation gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. But then we have a very, very mind-opening closure to it. You won't be sorry watching Mass, I guarantee you. Movies like this, I understand that it's not talked about, probably because of the media and they don't push this movie out that much. And at the same time, I think it's an independent film. But I really do wish that this review ages well and people shows it off to people. I normally don't tell people to share my stuff or whatever, but this movie needs to be praised. This movie needs people to watch this film because this movie is powerful in all aspects, especially the message. That's all I have to say for today. Please stay tuned for more of my upcoming movie reviews and videos headed your way. This is Hugo, your critic teacher, and you guys have a good day.